Hello everyone, I'm Kim and welcome to my sewing room. I hope you're all doing really well and have had a fantastic week. This week's video is all about Precious Fabric 24. This challenge was pushed out to the sewing community by Tomcat Stitchery, and I have a lot of fabric in my stash, but there are a few pieces which I seem to have put on a bit of a pedestal and really have found it difficult to cut into them. But this fabric, beautiful fabric, this fabric I decided to pull out for that challenge. Now, I didn't have a lot of this fabric. I had 2 meters of 110 centimeter wide, which is 43 inches. So it was quite narrow. And because the pattern is quite in your face, I didn't really want to make anything too fussy because I didn't want to lose the effect of the print. So I decided to make my favourite shirt pattern, which is the B5526. It's a straightforward shirt pattern. I have made probably a dozen of these patterns in the past, so I knew that whatever I made from that pattern would work because I know that pattern fits me. So I placed this precious fabric down on my cutting table and I started to cut it out. And whilst I was cutting, because I'm somebody who single cuts, I thought if I played really cleverly I could probably pattern match the front. So believe me, it took me quite a while to figure it out because it doesn't come naturally to me, pattern matching. But the repeat on this pattern is really small, so I thought, you know, if I play clever, I'll be able to manage it, and I have, and I'm really pleased that I have. So the challenge is by Tomcat Stitchery. Can't remember if I told you that or not, but the deadline is the 30th of September. So by the time you see this video, that deadline would have passed and I would have submitted this as my entry. So fingers crossed, everybody loves it. So I'm going to stand up and show you the shirt. It's very simple. There's not a lot of detail in the shirt, but that's not what I wanted. I really wanted to show off the fabrics print. So here is my shirt. So it is basically collar stand with collar. It has incorporated front placket, which means it's just folded over. The two front panels are, there's no bust dart in them, it's just straight down. Then you have the long sleeve with the cuff, and you don't even have a yoke on the back, it's just a one piece back. So it's a very, very simple shirt, but I did manage to pattern match the front of it, so I'm really, really pleased with it. It couldn't have worked out any better. And I've got some pink buttons which I had in my stash. This fabric actually came from Minerva and I bought it in December 21, so it's getting on to being nearly 3 years old, so it has been in my stash for a while. And I've got my project sheet as normal, and oh yeah, when I was making it up, I made a monumental mistake, because when I put the collar on, I thought the collar was too long to fit around the neck, and I was stretching the actual neckline to meet the collar, and realised what I had done is I had folded the front placket over too much. So it meant I had to unpick it, which meant I was working with a really thin seam allowance because I'd already trimmed it down. But I just took my time, unpicked. So it does have a label in it which says, oops, mistakes were made. And on the back it said solutions were found. So I did have a bit of a panic moment when I was unpicking it, because I did think, oh my God, I've trimmed it too far down. I'm not going to be able to get the neck, the collar banding, but I just basted it in and redid it, and thankfully it's worked out, because I think to have made a mistake on this fabric, I don't think I would have been able to get anything out of it, because it was just such a small amount of fabric to start with. But you know, you can work your way around this. You know, people think I'm an expert sewist. I still make monumental mistakes as I go along, because I don't read instructions properly, or I'm not paying full attention. So never be put off by a mistake, just learn from it. So I put it down on my project sheet, because when I read that going forward, it will make me think twice about, you know, if something doesn't fit, there's a reason why it doesn't fit. So don't just keep stretching the fabric hem to get it in. Think, why doesn't it fit? And maybe if I had done that, I wouldn't have made a huge mistake in the first place, and would have saved myself a lot of heart palpitations. So we got it done, and I am now going to submit this as my entry to Precious Fabric 24. So keep your fingers crossed that it does well and everybody loves it as much as I do anyway. Purchases. Well, this week has been a funny old week really, because normally when we get into autumn, I like to knit socks, but sometimes I don't feel like knitting. I will then do some hand sewing. So generally I will either knit or hand sew, and I hand sew in the evenings all year round. And I usually always have a project, and for some reason, I don't know why, I was purchasing something else, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I bought this template here. So this is a Hexie Acrylic template, so it's for a 1-inch Hexie paper piece template. So I'll get this template out. Now I did buy these templates a long time ago, and I usually buy them either off of Amazon or a company called Sew and Quilt. So that is my inch Hexie, and you can see that fits quite nicely into that hexagon template. So the hexagon template is used just to cut your fabric out, and then once the fabric's cut out, it's glued onto the Hexie, and you generally make one of these up. So I bought it because I just love hand sewing, and I think I had a mad moment when I looked at my scrap box and thought, oh, you know, I really need to start chipping away at that. And every so often I will make things out of my scraps. But I bought this template because I thought, I had this mad idea that I would make a long time ago, that I would make a bed blanket quilt out of hexes. And you can make anything out of these things. So I thought, you know, even if I made up some, I could make a cosmetic bag, or I could make up a tote bag. You can use them for anything. So I started cutting some of these out of scraps, and I decided I would just pick scraps that had green in them. So before you knew it, I had all of these little hexes cut out that had any colour of green in. So I set myself a task of just doing 10 a day. So I would cut out 10 of these a day, wrap them around the template, and then stitch them all together. So I've got to this stage here. So I've got to this stage here, and I'm just literally in the evening, all I do is I pick up Hexie and I just add it on in no particular order. It's very random, and I just hand stitch it. And my husband said to me the other night, oh, what's that for? And I thought, I don't know, I'm just sewing for the sake of it. And I just think, yeah, it was a bit ridiculous. I should really have a project in mind for it. So I have been thinking about what I could use my little Hexie project for. So do I carry on and make a full-blown bed quilt, or do I buy a tote bag and make a tote bag from it? So I don't know. I don't know. I have been tinkering with the idea of making Adam Sew's amazing totally bag. Sorry, Adam, I probably messed that up. But he has just created a tote bag pattern, and I've been looking at French Seams, who's made up a few of his bags, and they look really nice. And I thought it's just a great size for carrying some of these projects around, because I do sort of move them around the house with me. So in the evening when I'm working downstairs, I would just literally lug everything down there that I need for my evening's projects, and then if I'm filming or I'm doing something up here, I'll lug them back up, and I usually carry them in my arms and have to make several trips. So I thought it would be quite nice to have a dedicated bag for projects. So actually I think I might maybe really consider making Adam's tote bag. So, but if you have any ideas, let me know, because I will probably carry on doing this sort of thing for forever. So that is one of my little purchases. Now, the reason why I was looking at acrylics, because I've been working on a quilt. It's a real slow project for me, and I just do it here and there, and I haven't picked it up for a while. But I bought one of the Millifiori books, and her patterns are of quilts that use the tiniest little templates, and I do like fiddly things. And I bought a starter kit of templates to make up the Raindrops Are Falling on My Head quilt, and I'd made up some medallions. So here's a few of them. So I made up some medallions, and I started to stitch on the border pieces. So there's another medallion there, and I've got a few over on the side. So I had been working on those, but I only bought a starter kit of the paper pieces, and I'd run out of them. So I went on to Sew and Quilt, and they didn't have the kit that I wanted. So I asked them whether they were going to produce the kit, and they got back to me a few days and said, right, we've done it, it's there, go and get it. And I was so appreciative, because they actually compiled this full kit. I'm sure they were intending to do it anyway, but I'm just so grateful. So I have all the paper pieces to make up this this quilt. So I would just show you some of these paper pieces, because they are just so tiny, and I love tiny things. Look at this. Can you see? I mean, look how small that paper piece is. That is tiny. And there's even tinier ones in there. So these obviously won't use up a tremendous amount of my scrap, but it does mean that I can use quite a lot of my scrap up. And this quilt, I have decided I'm just going to use my scrap fabrics. I'm not going to buy fabric intentionally for it, because I have enough scrap fabric in my stash to make a quilt. And this is just literally random pieces of fabric to make these medallions up. And these medallions have been made up using a magic mirror, and I'm still trying to get to grips with the magic mirror, but it can make some beautiful designs up just using the pattern in the fabric. But I will hopefully keep you abreast of how I progress with that quilt. I don't envisage this quilt being finished anytime soon, like all my other handmade stuff, hand sewn stuff. These are really slow projects. I'm in no rush to get them finished. I just enjoy my hand sewing in the evening. So they are all of my hand sewing projects that I do in the evening. So what do I have planned for next week? Wow, after finishing my lovely shirt, I thought what I would like to do is I would like to now make the pink Atenas jacket. This jacket is from Itch to Stitch, and I bought this beautiful like baby cord pink fabric from Sherwoods in their sale, and it would just go so well with this shirt. I just thought, you know, I've been trying really hard lately to coordinate my wardrobe a bit better, and I think this jacket will go really well with this shirt. And I am looking to make some trousers. I'm not going to say C4, but I am looking to make more trousers to bring some of these things together. So this is on my list to make this week, so hopefully you will see that next week, she says confidently. Right, okay, I think that is it for today. So if you have enjoyed the content and you haven't subscribed, it would be lovely if you could. And obviously, if you are one of my subscribers, I thank you for continuing to support my small sewing channel. And I hope you all have a fabulous week, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.